Zerma for stepping up at the last moment. Looking at the grid that we have tonight, we have Nathan Doan and Alex currently leading the Division 3 standings at the moment. Nathan Doan is in first by, let me see if I can count, 13 points. Barney is back by 33, so he potentially is still in it. However, he has a qualifying ban he has to serve tonight. So he will not take part in the qualification, but he will take part in the sprint race. But we have a lot of laps tonight, man, and a lot of things can happen. I'm really excited.
Yeah, a lot of things can happen, and a lot of things we're waiting to see happen. As we can tell, Bonnie with that qualification ban, very, very bad for Mercedes constructors, but I mean, I've seen his pace throughout the whole weekend, and he looks to be the fastest, or at least one of the fastest here today.
Yeah, I mean, Barney generally is kind of a, I guess we used to call him a time trial sweat, but he's kind of moved past doing nothing but time trial. So he's always really quick in quality, but he is known to have some make some mistakes. So hopefully he's going to have a lot of work to do over the next 2 races to kind of make up for his lack of qualifying. And hopefully keep it clean and make the battle really exciting for us at the end. So looking at this, we are in the middle of the session now, and no one has set a lap yet. I think we have Siggy, and Nathan Doan are on their first hot lap at the moment.
Babito's now starting his hot lap, so let's go take a ride for him. Let's take a ride on him. Babito in the Red Bull seat.
So we do have a couple of reserves tonight. We have Flosi, who is reserving for his team. He is a team principal who has not been a full-time driver this season. We have, I'm not really sure how to say his name, but I think Bocage is also a reserve. He's driving for Haas as a reserve for them too. I believe that's it. And I think we have Fitz in for AlphaTauri also for Zenith. I think that's all of the reserves, unless I'm missing someone.
No, that seems to be it.
So speaking of Mr. Haas Reserve Bocage, he has set the fastest first sector with a 28.7.
28.7. And there he goes with a 28 flat.
28 flat for Siggy. Siggy is one of our pad users. He is reserved for this season. He's generally a full-time driver, but he's been busy most of the summer, so he decided to take the season. Oh, Nathan with a 27.5.
Let's see what Babito can get here. He's now rounding out. Ooh, Babito with a 27.3.
So what over a second quicker? Oh, go ahead.
So what kind of lap times are we looking for, Big Mama Frank? D3 pole.
So I think D3 pole we probably see anywhere from I think we can get as low as a 26.5. I'm not too familiar with everyone's pace in terms of their quality pace. I don't. We know, like we mentioned before, Barney's really quick here. We've seen Barney put up some pretty impressive D3 times this week in practice sessions, but we won't see a lap from him, obviously. But we'll see. Boberto's been putting up some pretty good laps too, so I think he can get pretty close to that also. But I think 26.5 is probably about kind of the dream time that we'll look for pole.
Yes, sure. Ooh, Corrupt with a 27.1. Decent bank from Corrupt. He's been solid throughout the whole season, to be honest. He's been very unlucky through this first half of the season, but I think for this last half, he's been definitely shining.
Yeah, definitely. 2 wins. 2 wins. 2 wins will always look good.
Yeah, that's 2 more than I have.
At this point, he is out of the championship, the Drivers' Championship. He's 40 points down of Nathan, so there's not enough points on the board for us tonight. I think he would be 1 point short if he were to get every point possible. If he were to win the sprint, get fastest lap, and get all points, he would be 1 point short of Nathan. And that's if Nathan didn't score any points, so
Alex
will
27.2. Looks like it seems all the drivers are at least hitting very close to the 27 or low 27s to be exact. And let's see who will be the first driver to hit 26.
Cole now on provisional pole with 27.1. Cole has definitely had one rough season. He has he certainly showed pace with getting pole at Spa, or not Spa, excuse me, at Coda, but he has had some issues with racecraft and has not really been able to back up his quality times for most of the season. But he has one last shot. He has a lot of laps here to make up any mistakes. So hopefully we can get a nice finisher for pole, because he's definitely not had a very satisfying season.
Maybe we have Cushy finishing up a lap there. A bit hesitant on the gas for the long right-hander. Okay, keeps in second gear, third gear. Again, a little bit hesitant on the gas, but puts in a 27.9. That's respectable.
Not too bad.
Okay, let's go check out Marino, who is now going to be on his out lap. Okay, so while we have Marino and them going out on their hot laps and everyone else in the pits, let's check out the driver standings, Big Mama Frank. So we have Nathan Doan in P1 with 152 points, Alex Durat with 139, two championship competitors. What do you think Alex needs to do for this race to take this crown home?
So he's going to have to just do everything he can to maximize his points. He can't rely on Nathan making a mistake. He has to beat Nathan by at least 2 positions. He either has to score, in order for him to win, he has to either finish the race in P1 with Nathan behind him in P2, and win the sprint race with Nathan scoring no points, so not finishing top 3 in the sprint. At that point, he would tie Nathan, and I think he would win the tiebreaker because he would have no win for Nathan. Outside of that, he's just going to have to do the best he possibly can, because he's going to have to beat him by at least, to kind of beat him safely, you have to beat him in the race by at least 1 position in order to win the Drivers' Championship. Missing last week definitely hurt him quite a bit.
Yeah, and Nathan Doan only needing P5 and higher to take the crown home, so as long as he can stay consistent and keep it safe, this should be Nathan Doan's race to win.
Yeah, it is certainly his Drivers' Championship to lose. He's put himself in a really good spot, which is especially really impressive for someone who is I think this is his first season with our league. Yeah, he is listed as a rookie. Alex has been here for a while. He did race D2 last season and has shown some pretty consistent pace through both seasons.
Okay, so we have Marino finishing up his lap, and that's at 27.8. So it looks like most drivers will be, at least most of our top midfield will be in the low to mid 27s so far. Of course, as the season, as the qualifying moves on, the track does get a bit grippier. So our time should be getting a bit lower, and we should be in the 26s in about 3 minutes.
We might see it here, depending on, I'm not sure. It looks like Marino. No, he's not pushing it.
No, he finishes that.
Yeah. We have Corrupt on an outlap again. We still have yet to see Josh Barnsley do a lap. Hopefully he's not having crashing issues. One thing that he's really struggled with this season is his game crashing in the middle of every session. It seems like it had to happen at least once. He did win last week by quite a big margin at Canada, so it'd be nice to see him do well again and kind of carry on the momentum that he built up from last week. And also, you just hovered over Snoop Francis there. He is the one person who has been around for all of Vision 3 this season who has yet to finish a race. So he has competed in 6 of our 7 races previously, and he has DNF in 6 of them. So
yikes!
I'm rooting big time for Snoop just to cross the finish line at the end of the feature race. Zero points.
He just needs to get that finish.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to push or do what he did last week at Canada, where he went and got on enters 5 laps too early. So hopefully he just finishes the race, man. I'm super rooting for you.
Awesome. Looks like the Ferrari boys are having a very difficult time so far. Definitely expecting Max to be a lot higher than he is right now.
Yeah, Brian is definitely he's been around for a long time. He definitely has potential to do really well, but sometimes people just have just a bad first little stint, and they can improve quite a bit. So we still have a lot of time left. We finally have Josh Barnsley, I think, starting his first attempt now. Now the benefit, of these, kind of, I don't know how you feel about these sprint qualifying. I think I know for myself, I would prefer if it was at a different track in Silverstone where there's a little bit more racing, I suppose. But for one benefit of these sprint qualifying formats is you really won't need too many tires in the 25% sprint race because it's a 25% race, and also when we get into the feature race, you'll have completely fresh set of tires. So you can start on whatever you want and do whatever strategy you want with fresh tires. So that's a nice benefit. And Corrupt, there he is, first into the 26s, and then Cole passed him just right after
Max
that.
hitting a 27-1.
Big man.
Hey, let's.
We saw Christian yesterday have a really good race or his Cole's brother Christian yesterday had a pretty good race for MD4 last night. Oh yeah, there he is, Brian Hackman with that pace that you're talking about. So.
OG as well, finishing up a lap just now. I don't know. Alex Gerard definitely needs.
Duerte.
Duerte
is how you pronounce it.
okay.
It is Spanish, so yeah, Duerte.
Duarte. So Alex Duarte definitely needs these sprint qualifying points. I think.
Yeah, he definitely does. Like, he needs every point he can, because 13 points is a big gap to do, especially with Nathan being as good as he's been this season, man. He's going to have to do it. Like, one thing we've seen from Alex a lot this season is either his qualifying will leave a little bit to be desired, or he'll just have bad starts to the race and have to make up time later. What he needs for this, particularly Silverstone, he's going to have to just do the best he possibly can in qualifying, and pretty much just have to out-qualify Nathan to be able to really get where he needs to be. 27 flat for OG. I know he's probably pretty pleased with that. Still has a little time to do another stint.
So the rest of these guys will be having one more push lap to do, as the timer is counting down to the 4-minute mark.
That's one big thing here is Cole has the fastest Sector 3 compared to Corrupt by almost a tenth. So potentially if Cole can put a lap together, maybe he will be seeing another pole from Cole this season. That's rhyming way too.
As Cole just creeped his way up a little bit closer.
Back in the pits, so he'll have time to go back around one more time. Corrupt is in the pits too, so they're going to go again. They should have enough time to go again.
Let's see who's on a flyer right now.
Brian Hackman left the session. He had issues with connection and crashing last week also, which kind of prevented him doing a lap at all, but at least he's got a pretty respectable lap now this time.
We have Marino also starting a lap. Goes over the curb a bit, that's going to cost him some time. Bit of oversteer. Another bit of oversteer. Looks like the pressure is getting to Marino right now.
It might be time to just abort and just go around slowly, save your fuel, save your tires.
Yeah, especially since Britain is one of the nicest tracks on tires. I mean, softs can last about 18 to 15 laps.
Yeah, they can. The issue is the sprint. They will wear a little bit more in the sprint, but I still think both tires can do the entire race if they had to.
And that's the thing. What kind of strategies are these drivers going to be looking for in the sprint qualifying?
I think we'll see. I think we have the potential to see quite a few strategies for the sprint race. We might see people in the midfield and towards the back pit on lap 1 and get on a medium, just go to the end. But they also have to respect the strength of the DRS train, so they may also just decide to stay out really long, stick with the trains in the pit when the leaders pit, and just follow them around and maybe beat them on track. So I think we're going to see a ton of different strategies this year.
Oh, as Marino does abandon his lap into the pits, probably going to put on a fresh set of rubber and go out with limited fuel and limited time.
These pit lanes so long, he may not have enough time. It's hard to see because the stupid yellow flag thing just won't go away. Yeah, 239 is what my last saw there, so.
Okay. I'm waiting for it to go still. Well, until we find out the time, Technic Speedy on a flying lap. ERS completely used, and on the mediums. So what kind of lap he's going to be setting?
That's really strange.
27.
I guess he beat his time, so. I guess he's gonna do the alt strat. I guess he's gonna do the alternate strat.
That's great.
That's the one person so far. So everyone else has done softs. He's the only person that will be starting on the mediums, at least in the top 10. He may still get bounced, but there's still people doing laps here.
But also coming, Nathan Doan on a flyer. Let's see what he can do. These closing stages of our qualifying.
And 8,000 separating Alex and Nathan right now. So very close between them.
Let's see what Nathan can do. I don't know if he's too much of a qualifier, but I know his racecraft is pretty good.
He's over 2/10 up right now. 2/10 quicker on the first sector than his previous lap. So we're looking at least 29s if he can nail the rest of this lap.
Short shifts into 8th gear. Let's see if he's keeping it nice and close to this in a curve. Okay, it's the apex. Brake nice and late into this corner. You really want to carry as much minimum speed as possible through those last 2 corners.
Lost a tiny bit of time for the second sector.
Oh, but still, a 27.04. I mean, I don't even need to say anything, but our top 4, super close. Closer than I expected it to be.
Yeah, we have Corrupt setting the fastest first sector. He's up a little less than a tenth on his own time right now.
I think Corrupt was the biggest late bloomer out of all these drivers for this entire different season. He's
I don't know if late bloomer is very, I think it's more of like he's just been unlucky or he's just kind of been involved in incidents. I think his pace has always been there. It's just keeping it clean is either just he's not had the luck or he's just kind of had some issues with that.
Oh, as Cole Cummings
So
just
he
sets a
has to penalize.
26.7.
Woo!
That is...
Wow, dude. Corrupt is still faster than him right now. He is purple for the first 2 sectors, and
What was
he
Nathan
just
doing?
invalidated that.
Oh, did he?
Corrupt invalidated his lap. Yeah, he was going to be faster than Cole.
Is Corrupt taking P2 for now? So OJ and Corrupt solidify their positions. Unless Nathan backs or Duarte has anything to do about it. Oh, as Bax is into the pits. Alex is
about even on his first sector right now.
Let's see where he ends up on his second sector. Goes into 5th there. Bit of hesitation through Baggett's and Beckett's.
He might be maybe a tenth up on his time right now.
I mean, as close
Right
as you
now
can
would
get to
not
Nathan.
move him.
I mean, as close as you want to get to Nathan, am I right?
Right. But I don't think he's going to improve his position. I think you still have Hackman in between him and Nathan.
And he stays P6. And that will be our qualifying. As you see, we have Josh Bonsley, Nathan Doan still going into the pits.
Yeah, that is it. That session is over. Cole is low fuel mode driving into the pits right now. The session should end, hopefully. It would really suck for everybody who's still on the track for the AI just to drive their tires until the end of the session.
Oh my god, so we have Corrupt getting his tires worn down by the AI as we speak.
But the nice thing, again, is we are on the sprint race. He does have the option to pit pretty early if he needs to.
And only that, I feel as though the pit range is going to be decided on DRS more than anything else about tire wear. I think.
It might. Hey, you do have to be really quick. You have to be at least 3-4 tenths a lap quicker than the entire train if you're going to pit early in order to not get overcut.
Okay, so we have Cole Cummings.
But there we have it, man. We have Cole. Yeah, Cole with his second pole position of the season. Let's see. Hopefully he can do a little bit better in the race than he did last time.
Yes, Corrupt with a P2. Very respectable. Could have been a pole. Could have been.
Yeah, he was on the lap to do it, and he just invalidated in the, I think, right at the beginning of the third sector. So unlucky for him, but he is on pad, and we are at Silverstone, so he will have the inside line, I believe. Yeah, that is the inside line, right, for P2?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it is. It
well,
is the
he's on
inside line.
pad and he'll have the inside line, so he should have, even though he will be behind Cole, he still has those things to work for him.
Okay. Okay, and we will see you guys for our sprint qualifying. And we are back for our sprint qualifying. Mr. BMF. If you are Nathan Doan right now, what are you thinking?
I'm just thinking about keeping it clean, man, because he knows he doesn't have to win the race, the actual race to win the drivers' championship. But the most important thing is that he doesn't get damaged and have to start further back in the actual race. So he just needs to keep it clean, ride the train out, and then make his moves in the actual race.
Of course, we have Barney go.
So looking at, we have him starting at the back. I don't. If you can pull up those tires for us and we can see what everyone's starting on. But looking at our telemetry right now, looks like we have overcast for the entire race. It doesn't look like we'll have any rain. We are under 20% chance of rain, and it gets lower as the race goes. So it looks like we will just be on a cool track for the entirety of the race. No rain for us. We did have the D4 race last night. Did have full wets, and that was interesting. And that sprint race took forever. Safety car and full wets. So hopefully we don't get the sprint race doesn't take too long here.
Hopefully the safety cars definitely decides to stay in the pits throughout this whole 13 laps. Okay, as the cars are now lining up, ready for the restart. And we'll be sitting upon our driver championship contender, Nathan Doan, for the start.
So I mentioned before, but Ethan is the only one in the top 10 starting on mediums. He's going to have some really killer pace in order to make this work, I think. Everyone around him is on soft, so
and Barney
he's going to be at quite the disadvantage.
With a medium tire choice. And we are...
Alright guys, here we go. The race is... So far, so clean. Really good start for Fitz there. I think he got up a couple of positions. Brian Hackman is, I think, past Nathan Doan. Oh no, he's started. Yeah, he's past Brian Hackman up into P2 now. Corrupt just kind of running away from the field. Nathan kind of got closed off there by Brian Hackman going into turn 4. Now Nathan. Nathan just got spun.
Nathan just spun and took down OJ with him.
That's exactly what you didn't want to happen. I think there was a little incident with Boberto. I think Boberto they had a little bit of contact on the exit of the turn. And and then we have more spins. We have Fitz around. I think we also have Cushy around.
Oh my god. This is a huge mess for the front row of the
I mean,
grid.
for Corrupt now, you're in the lead. You just want to be blowing all your batter here. If you can pull out of the DRS for Brian, then you can just basically run away and just win the race on your own.
Yeah, and we've seen Corrupt has the pace and seems to be the fastest here right now. I mean, he's
Luckily
really
for Nathan, no damage. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, he's already pulling a second gap to backs, and I don't know. We'll see how the positions goes and how DRS comes into play.
Brian's doing a good job staying within that, but he's losing it now, actually, right when I say that. It'll be important for him to have a really good lap 2 in order to get back in that, but it looks like Corrupt's pace just might be a little bit too much for him. OG was the only person to sustain damage to those lap 1 puzzles. Nathan did not get damage, but he has a lot of work to do to catch back up.
Oh, as Josh Bonsley sends it into the gravel. Some very
Damage for him.
unfortunate drivers right now.
But looking really good for Alex. I mean, Nathan all the way down to P18. And I think he is far enough back. Yeah, he is. I mean, he is in the train with Fitz. Fitz also spun, so there is a little bit of gap between them and the rest of the pack. Ethan has lost the leaders right now on his mediums. Roberto also lost the leaders. Corrupt and Brian still flirting with that DRS interval. Brian is still holding his own.
And as we're going to see, the top 4 already making that gap to Roberto, who is slowly losing pace to those front runners.
Yeah, the issue when you lose that DRS, especially when the wings open up, we have, I think, a Haas stopped in sector 2. Like Cage rolled had a spin outside Cops.
Let's see if he has.
But the issue though for Roberto and the people behind him is once you lose that train, you just pretty much can never get it back without pit stop strategy. Because they're just going to be able to outpace you no matter what.
Yep, we already have our train starting to form, so that is P1 to 4, P5 and 6, all on their lonesome. So it seems like Alex Duarte is going to be very happy and definitely going to be fighting really hard to get into those points.
Yeah, I think if you're Nathan, you may just have to make kind of a gamble here and maybe box early just to try to undercut some of these people and maybe ride a train and make up as many positions as you can.
Riding along with Roberto here, who is slowly seeing the front guys dissipate into the distance.
Yeah, just basically every corner you see that timer just going up, and then every time we get into that DRS, just even more and more and more and more. You just kind of lose a battle of attrition when you lose that DRS train. You just don't have enough battery to keep up with everyone in front. And this track, it's really forgiving with the battery, so the people in front are going to have a lot more extra battery than they generally have at other tracks. So it just makes it that much harder to keep up with them.
And also, this is one of the tracks where DRS train is a very powerful thing, and you do want to stick into it. And if you do fall out, you're very, very unfortunate. Looks like Roberto here is going to be sticking in P5 until Ethan Patel can do anything about it. Keeping up with him on the medium tires.
Ethan's done a good job so far, but he is a little bit unlucky that Roberto was not able to hold the train. Because now it's going to be difficult for him to catch it. What we might see from guys running on the mediums, they may pit they should pit with the soft runners and then just maybe have a tire advantage for a couple of laps. Try to make up some of that time. Stu Francis, I think, had a moment.
Oh, and he is getting sent down the timing boards.
I think he just retired? Oh no, he just reset the track, but yeah, he's still alive. That's what's important. He's finished. He just needs to do his best to finish. Still no damage for him. OG's still the only one that has had damage so far this race.
I mean, Bonnie Goatman, one of our biggest winners out of all of this. P10. P9 actually. 10 positions made up.
And hit. Yeah, and if Siggy, he'll be able to pass Siggy on this lap because Siggy will not have DRS pushing in front. So it should give Barney the opportunity to slingshot around him and catch Christian in front.
Okay, and Barney makes the move, and now that's 11 positions gained, so Barney definitely making a charge. Oh, and that's backs into the pits. Ryan Hackman into the pits. Guessing going for that early pit stop.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. So he should come out. He should have some people around him when he comes out. So he won't be fully alone. So he may have some. He may be able to take advantage of a little bit of DRS on his way back up. But this might start triggering a lot of people to go in.
Corrupt is also making a gap to Cole Cummings right now. Currently out of DRS. And
yeah, with Brian going in there, it just kind of left him out to dry.
Yeah, so our Red Bull and Aston Martin teams having a really, really good race so far. P1, 2, and 4 and 5. Ethan Patel struggling a bit to keep up with Babita right now. Babita probably now getting comfortable with the racetrack.
I think also Ethan is just kind of comfortable sitting behind Roberto. He's at 87% battery right now, so he's not using very much. Roberto is down to sub 30%, so he is pushing quite a bit harder.
Also, Ethan not needing to use that much battery because he is on the DRS of Roberto. So all he has to do is just sit behind and let Roberto carry him until he's dry. Ooh, as we have Corrupt into the pits with Cole Cummings.
Okay, yeah, and I guess he's just trying to protect himself from the potential undercut from Brian. But Brian right now is driving in clean air. So it is just pace on pace right now.
This body goes setting the fastest lap, now in P4. So already a great start for the Mercedes outfit. And he's making their own little trains.
Yeah, he's right behind Ethan. We'll see. I mean, Ethan now, at this point, is you have to start using your battery. You have to start looking to try to make up time because Corrupt is well within your pit stop window now. If you want to win the sprint, race, you have to be a little bit more aggressive now. You have to start pushing to be able to overcut these guys. Particularly at Barney, he's clawed up from so many positions back. He's right outside your DRS interval.
I mean, if you're Alex Duarte right now, I mean, pitting is your best option since most of your competition is trying to go for that undercut and is already having DRS.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're not super confident with the pace. Like if Alex just goes out here and just puts in some banger laps, then he should be able to overcut everyone because both of the people that are behind him are in clean air. Like Corrupt actually overcut Brian Acken there, and Brian is outside of Corrupt's DRS, and both of them are in clean air at the moment.
So we have the rest.
Now Ethan, there he goes. There goes Alex into the pit. So yeah, he recognizes that he potentially could be undercut by Corrupt because Corrupt is flying right now.
So let's see where Corrupt is going to be coming out. As he rounds the last few corners of this lap. So Alex Duarte now on the final stretch of the pit lane doesn't make it in front of Corrupt. Again, that really slow pit stop.
Yeah.
I mean, Britain is...
Now Hackman is back in front of Alex, and Cole is right behind them. So yeah, they're just in their own train now. Corrupt is just 2 seconds, man, he's gone.
Yeah, Corrupt definitely with the powerful lead. Drip, Siggy, Barney, and Technic Speedy. Let me check if they have pitted so far. So far, Ethan, Barney, Siggy, and Drip have not pitted so far. But they are 16 seconds behind Corrupt, so if they do decide to pit, they will be going behind
leading
Corrupt.
our alternate. Yeah, they're gonna have to. I think at this point, if we just keep watching that kind of gap to leader, I think we're just gonna see. We should be seeing Corrupt just kind of start to close that gap to Ethan. And the second they start seeing that, if they have engineers working for them right now, if they see that interval, they should probably be telling them to pit. Because they're going to have to make up a lot of time with those fresh, soft tires.
Yeah, Nathan Doan again, just sitting by himself all over P11. unable to do much or nothing at all with the drivers who are already seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, the benefit, he's done a decent job to make up some time that he's lost, but an absolute disaster so far.
As we have two of our last, well, of our last four drivers pitting in. So we have Ethan and Barney on the mediums, pushing it to the end. So, I mean, if I'm Ethan right now, I'm thinking, I'm not going to be fighting Barney. You know, let's work together, let's use the DRS, let's get away from Corrupt and Alex, and let's just keep pushing. Let's make this gap, come out right behind the Ferrari of Brian Hackman, and yeah, just start making that gap, start putting down that pace, and use these medium tires up, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing a late pit stop.
I think we might see him go in here since Barney has passed Ethan. I wouldn't be surprised if, since Barney took the position, he'll go in now.
Oh, yep.
Yep, there they go.
Into the pits. Brian
So they're going to have, they should come out, I think, P7 and 8, I believe, if I've got my math here correctly.
should be in the DRS train with Alex. I mean, yeah, with Brian Hackman and Cole Cummings. Out to the pits. So that's all our drivers on their last set of rubber. Okay, so tires so far. I mean, Barney and Ethan on those fresh softs. I mean,
And they actually
5
overcut
seconds.
Alberto there, so that's
I mean, if you're Barney right now,
That's a lot of time to make. That's a lot of time to make up.
Yeah.
But Barney has absolutely had an excellent race so far, making up so many positions. It'll probably take him about the rest of the race just to catch up to Cole, but they have done a very good job of putting themselves in a really nice position for the main race.
as now Barney and Ethan definitely going to be leading this DRS train. As we have Nathan still losing positions. He was in P11, but now finds himself in P12. So Nathan not having a great race right now, and definitely a terrible position to start his championship fight against Duarte.
A lot of time to make up. The benefit for him is that Corrupt looks really fast today, so Alex may not be able to win the main race if Corrupt is going to be just as fast as he was here. So it'll kind of put a little bit more pressure on Alex and a little less pressure on Nathan to score as many points, but it's still going to be quite the challenge.
Triple Marino. I mean, Marino's kind of had a quiet season. Oh, Strip just saves himself from spinning out. Marino's kind of had a quiet season so far with us in Season 4. I mean, he stayed out
Marino
of... Go ahead.
he's had a couple of DNFs, so it's definitely hurt his. I mean, he could be right in the fight for the Drivers' Championship right now without those two DNFs, but he's shown some really solid pace. Oh, and there goes Strip.
Strip.
He saved it last time. He couldn't get it that time.
A little too excited on the pedal there. Okay, so we
Yeah,
do
this is one
have...
of those tracks, you know.
We do have Brian Hackman with a 3-second penalty. So Barney definitely looking to be closing that gap towards Brian Hackman to just get ever so
And you
close.
just keep watching that delta between Barney and Cole, man. That delta just dropping quite rapidly, although it does kind of bounce back up during the DRS zones.
Seems like Barney is running a bit higher downforce than the rest of the grid. Make up all this time for the cause. And setting the fastest lap of the race.
28.5. Yeah, nice job for Barney there. – looking at our warnings, we have Cole with 2 warnings also. So Barney's at 1. Alex is at 1. Ethan is at 1. And Roberto and Siggy are both at 2 as well.
Bonnie again closing up the gap. Now 3 seconds to go. And Ethan Patel actually falling back.
Should inherit.
Okay.
Yeah, so one benefit for Nathan is Marino does have a 3-second penalty as well. So Nathan should inherit P10 if everyone holds position for till the end of the race. And Marino is 4 seconds back from another driver, so unless somebody makes a mistake, they may not be moving up in order any further than that.
Yeah, I mean, the grid so far looks pretty settled besides the top 4. I mean, top 6 even, with Brian Hackman with that penalty coming into play at the end of
Trip around again. Top Trip not having a very good race so far. I mean, he's still alive though, which is important, so it's better to start P16 than starting P20.
OJ lifting on Josh Bouncy. Holding in probably for the next DRS zone. I mean, OJ definitely one of the biggest losers so far, positions change wise. I mean, starting P3 and getting taken out by Nathan. I mean, you expected Nathan to be a bit more careful through the first lap and, I mean, first few corners, but I guess that pace and that hunger for that P1 is definitely gotten to him.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, I think the first few corners of this track are really kind of sketchy because turn 1 is, you know, it's a pretty solid turn, but at the same time, you want to try to take it flat. But when you have so many people around you, if all it takes is one person to kind of check it out a little bit and lift a little bit, and suddenly you just have this big traffic jam.
Yeah, because she's staying nice and close to Roberto through Maggots and Beckett's. Really brave. Trusting Roberto ahead of him to not be having any sort of different line or anything to him. A lot of confidence.
Both of them are basically completely out of battery. So if Cushy can't build a sizable gap, it may be hard for him to hold them off on the final lap.
As Corrupt crosses the line for a final lap. Bonnie again closing up that gap to Cole Cummings. And now is ahead of Brian Hackman. So I'm guessing Bonnie's goal right now here is just keep pushing, closing that gap even more and more.
Yeah, and potentially, I mean, Hackman has 5 warnings now, and Cole is at 2, so he could potentially move up to P3 if Cole gets one more warning, if both of those drivers get one more warning. I mean, Brian Hackman's already going to fall down to P6, I think, now, with the current intervals, but Cole is on the potential for the drop also with those penalties. Pretty good. Very unfortunate race for our Haas people today. We have both of them at the bottom of the grid, and one of them has not finished this race.
Okay. I mean, Ethan Patel getting a bit aggressive behind Bonnie right now.
I mean, well, he didn't make the move happen, and this is the end of the race, so left a lot of battery in there, 60% battery. He still has about a third of his deployment left. I wonder if he just maybe didn't push hard enough there, but Cole sits in P3, so we have Corrupt Alex, Cole, Barney, and Ethan. A fantastic drive from Barney to recover from his qualifying ban, start the race in P. And then we have Ethan right behind Barney. Then we have Brian Hackman in P6, Cushy in P7, Roberto P8, Siggy in P9, Nathan in P10. So even despite the lap 1 spin, he made up quite a few positions, but he has a lot of work to do. Alex, his championship rival, in P2, and he has at least 5 or 6 positions he's going to have to make up in the race in order to win the Drivers' Championship. So a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, and again, Corrupt just a monstrous lead throughout the grid. Yeah. I mean, Alex Duarte can try to do his best on the couple of few laps to stay with him, but I'm pretty sure Corrupt will be definitely pulling that lead and definitely having a very lonesome race for this season in Britain.
Yeah. The benefit, I mean, kind of the benefit of Alex now is he won't have any cars between him and Corrupt. So if Alex can get a good start and just stick with them in that first stint, then you'll have an opportunity to make something happen. Because before, at the start of the race, he had Hackman in between him and Corrupt, and Hackman was just not able to keep up that pace. So now it's just on him. So maybe he'll have the pace to keep up with Corrupt here.
Okay, and that is now the end of our sprint qualifying. So our top 3 drivers will be Corrupt, Alex Duarte, and Boberto. Oh no, wait, it's Colt Cummings.
Yeah, it's Cole. Roberto is a little bit further down.
Awesome, and Bonnie Goldmay with an amazing recovery drive into P4. Ethan Patel staying right behind Bonnie. You know, not making his move, probably out of safety and just preserving that position.
So I guess the benefit of these sprint qualities, it kind of, if people, fall back at the start or have a poor qualifying session or they're banned, they have the opportunity to make up those positions like we saw Barney here. So most of our fast dudes right back at the top. So the start of this race should be spicy.
Yep, and we will see you soon for the start of Britain. Zoom Racing League Season 4. Final race in Britain.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are just about to get on the grid for the D3 feature race here. It looks like I haven't, our telemetry's not up yet, not until everyone has put their setups in, but we'll have the weather information here in just 1 second. But so far, it looks like we're gonna have a dry race, at least at the start. Yeah, it's looking hot too, so it looks like it's pretty, just kind of some pretty normal dry weather. Yeah, it's just sunny. It's just a nice summer day here in Britain. So no rain at all. It's just gonna be dry all the way through, which I know me and Thermal are happy about because the race will be done quicker and maybe we'll get some warm up laps in before our race. We just saw a really amazing drive from Corrupt and Barney, so now they have the opportunity to finalize those drives with this race here. Uh, we'll see now. Like we said before, we have Nathan starting all the way back in P10, so he has a ton of work to do to secure his driver's championship. Alex in a really nice position starting P2. Barney is still technically in the mix also, but I believe, like I said before, it would require Nathan to DNF. And that would be extra unfortunate for Alpine if that did happen.
I mean, from the tire choices we were going to see, Barney and Brian Hackman trusting the medium to soft strategy. I mean, as well, since we are going from sprint quality to the race, drivers do have a free choice of tires.
Yes, what we may wind up seeing is, since we have 4 dudes in the top 11 on mediums, we might see kind of 2 trains form based on tire choice here, depending on how quick Barney and Brian are. Like we saw before, we saw Brian kind of fall back on Corrupt at the start of the sprint race while they were on the same tire strategy, so I think it'd be really challenging for him to stay with them again. But we'll see if we'll see. I mean, we might just see 2 trains just in the front anyway, so we'll see how that goes. It might be a big challenge for Barney to stick with everyone at the start, but we will see.
Yeah, we will definitely see as drivers are now forming up to the grid. No controversy yet through the formation lap. Very clean formation lap, surprisingly.
Always nice to not see anyone spin. That's always a bummer.
Okay.
Got a Haas kind of trailing behind me. That's Flosy taking his sweet time on this formation lap.
So, let's have our position. Okay, so let's ride on with Brian Hackman for the race start. And off we go. See, oh, Bonnie already making a dive down the inside of Cole Cummings. Doesn't make the move down.
Nathan up 2 positions from P10.
Drip also making up a ton of positions. Brian Hackman making his way almost past Bonnie. Going wheel to wheel right now.
Oh, he got him for now.
Yeah. Technic speeding sitting.
Very good start for.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, now the challenge, like we mentioned before, is for Brian to just stick with the lead, with the cars in front. It's gonna be challenging because the softs are gonna be so much quicker in these first few laps.
Yeah, I mean, already just from the start, everyone's still super close. Probably going to be still close till the end of the race. Corrupt not pulling that gap as quickly as I expected, but Alex actually closing the gap towards him right now.
Brian going a little bit defensive on Barney there, and he's already lost that DRS interval, so now he's over 1 second behind of Cole. If he gets stuck, if he cannot have DRS at lap 2, he's going to be free. He's just going to be like easy pickings for Barney, I think.
And Barney braking really hard into the corner. I don't know, but Ethan might have damaged his front wing.
So far, no damage has been reported on telemetry, and everyone is clean so far. did see someone just ghosted there. I'm not sure who that was.
Nathan locking up, making the pass still on Marino, slowly crawling his way to hopefully, for him, a P5 or higher finish.
Nathan struggling surprisingly. Oh, I think we just had Barney go around.
Oh, Fitz and Drip also getting a bit
Barney.
touchy.
Barney fell all the way down to P12. Looks like he's spun. Going into left field. But now Barney was in a great position after that sprint race. There's a lot of work to do. And he's in the middle of a ton of traffic.
Yeah, I mean, Drip and Siggy staying wheel to wheel through Maggots and Beckett's. Siggy backs out. Smart choice. Oh, and Drip just straight on cuts the corner at the end of Maggots and Beckett's.
One way to do it. He didn't get a warning somehow. I don't know. He still didn't a warning. Oh! Okay. So that's surprising. But Brian Hackman, man, 2 seconds down from Cole now, so it's just these leaders are just going to run away now. It's going to be really challenging for him to catch back up. It's going to be basically all based on how well he can do when he finally pits. He's going to have to do some really banger laps just to be able to catch that train in front.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan Doan slowly making his way up. I mean, definitely quicker than Roberto here. But again, just slightly using his battery, keeping pace, knowing that positions made now don't really add up later on, but definitely just keeping himself out of trouble.
Well, I think they'll add up pretty big here since Roberto is just outside of Cushy's DRS, and if Nathan can pass him on this back straight here with the DRS, he might be able to slingshot himself right into the DRS of Cushy, which will put him in a really good position towards the end of the race.
Oh, and Nathan Doan sending down the inside of Cops, and Roberto just backs off. Just says, here you go.
I think Roberto was doing a little DRS chicken here. Now Nathan might just get re-overtaken here, which might slow them both down quite a bit. So it's probably a little bit frustrating for Nathan that he did that. Because now they're just going to be stuck outside that DRS window of Cushy.
Cushy's
funny. Cushy and Brian side by side.
Yeah, Cushy definitely trying to stick a nose in.
They lost a considerable amount of time. Nathan is actually now inside the DRS window, and that battling is actually giving Nathan the opportunity to catch them. So this is really big for his race.
Yeah, I mean, right now Alex can just put his head down and let Corrupt just bring him to his pit stop, and hopefully Nathan will get held up instead of helped by this traffic.
Yeah, but the issue is they lose time. If you're not cleanly passing that guy in front, you won't make up as much time as you possibly could. If you were passing them and then pulling that dude along with you, and you guys are both using your battery, then you're gonna be a lot quicker. But if he's too content with sitting in P2 the whole race, it might give Nathan enough. It might give Nathan just enough slack to be able to get where he needs to get. Because Alex has to win the race to guarantee that he has that driver's championship.
Ooh, Marino getting a bit loose behind Roberto right now. Again, Marino keeping close to
We have a pretty big
Roberto.
train here, man. I think we have an 8-car train going from Ethan all the way down to Drip. Although Drip is not in that, so all Ethan down to Barney. Barney's done a good job of making up a couple of positions from the spun. Weird little ghost there from Roberto and Marino, but they're still racing.
Again, a huge train again. I mean, Drip's leading his own train from P12 to last.
There we have the first pit. We have Cole into the pits. I guess Cole was just not content with his pace and decided to go in to try to make up some track position here, or maybe just to kind of prevent himself from losing that DRS train. But these tires are, I mean, Corrupt and Alex should be pretty content to go for maybe 7 more laps here. I might leave Cole out to dry. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the mediums can last extremely long. I mean, you can even pit lap 4 to the mediums.
You can pit lap 1. I think the mediums can go the whole race. Now, I don't know if we want to do that because the pace may fall off quite a bit at the end. But I think the mediums can go all the way.
I mean, you can make the undercuts of all undercuts. And
yeah.
I mean, again, Alex and Corrupt just completely running away with this. You know, Nathan again getting helped by Cushy and Brian Hackman.
Yeah, the only issue now is Nathan actually fell out of that DRS of Cushy. Cushy, if he looks like Cushy may be going for an overtake here on Brian. Since he's so close behind, we have a Haas spun around on the exit top. Looks like it is okay, Golden.
Like a super close battle here. 11th. Zach Smack currently just sitting behind Siggy and Drip. Again, Drip now making his way to fit Stickwell's DRS, but just can't keep himself there.
Berto going also.
Oh, and that's Marino
another
around.
yellow flag.
It's Marino around.
Right after Marino gets that 3-second penalty, he spins, man. That's not what you want to see.
Oh, definitely not. As Cole Cummings drops down from an incident? I didn't see what happened.
No, Cole boxed early. He's about 30 seconds behind the leader, so he is just outside of their pit stop window.
I mean,
Cole is just on. He has just completed his out lap, and he is now on his first full lap.
I mean, if you're Corrupt or Alex right now, I think your number one priority is, as soon as you see that gap starting to not make that much big of a difference from, let's say, Ethan, hit. Especially since Cole Cummings is going for that very big undercut, you know.
I mean, I think for Corrupt, Corrupt is fine with doing this. I think all the pressure right now is on Alex. Corrupt is just here to win the race. I think Corrupt can just go for as long as he wants because the gaps just keep getting bigger and bigger. He really only has to pit once the people who are relatively close behind him start pitting. Because Cole right now is not really lapping very quick. He's pretty even with Corrupt right now, and if he wants to be able to undercut him, he's going to have to be a little bit quicker. The only issue is, like, if Alex is not going to be more aggressive and take that position from Corrupt and then pull him along, it may not end well for Alex.
I mean, Nathan Doan falling in and out of DRS these past few laps.
Yeah, and he keeps getting back into it to his credit, so he's one position down where he needs to be. I think I didn't actually do enough math here. I probably should have. But I think right now, if everyone were to finish where they are now, I think Nathan would come out ahead because Alex is not in front.
That is
There we go,
true.
Cole with the fastest lap. So he is now still just outside that DRS window, or not DRS, that pit window of Corrupt, where we expect anywhere from 25.5 to 29 seconds lost for a pit stop.
Ooh, and we have Snoop Francis around.
Oh no, Snoop, no.
No.
Get back on the track, Snoop.
Snoop's just doing 360s in the meadows.
Oh, he's got wing damage. Come on, Snoop, don't quit on us. Let's finish. Just change your wing, brother. And let's go to the end on the medium. Still got this. Just take it easy. Marino is actually driving around with 5% front wing damage on his left front wing, so it may be time for him to have to pit. He has to just like put on hards or something. And that's not very ideal for this track.
I mean, not very ideal, but still a decent tire choice. You know, the hards aren't that terrible, but they can get you to the end safely.
Yeah, true. The only issue is he's not in anyone's DRS at the moment. He may not be once he pits. We have Corrupt actually into the pits now. Alex staying out. Now this will be important for Alex here. If he doesn't put in a good lap here and on his out lap, or on this lap here, if Corrupt undercuts him and he does not have that DRS, Corrupt is going to run away and leave Alex left to dry.
I mean, let's
So
see
if
what
that
Cole
happens,
Cummings
it puts-
comes. Let's see what Cole Cummings comes out of here. I mean, he is going for that large
I
undercut.
think he's still just outside that window. I think he should come out right behind Corrupt here.
No, he's going to be ahead of Corrupt. Oh no, I was wrong. Corrupt's still ahead of
Just a
Cummings.
little bit. Cole was just a little too slow on that first out lap. He got his pace going after that, but just a little bit too slow. Got a second half between Corrupt and Cole now. Another yellow flag. I think it's actually green now. Going
Oh, no, it's
slow. Oh no, we
Drip.
have Alfa Romeo. Oh no, we already saw a couple spins from Drip, and now we have another one.
I can't tell if there's any damage on Drip, but seems like he's
Looks
not.
like he just spun on his own. took another Haas around. I think that's.
Oh no, Drip
Yeah,
does have
full
front wing
car.
damage.
Oh, he does. Yeah,
Missing
he
a
does.
full end plate.
So this has definitely been a race to forget for these Haas fans. Flosi is up to 9 seconds in penalties already, and Hokage is spun and is in the last with Hards. Oh, Ethan gets a 5-second penalty for speeding. Oh, that's an absolute disaster.
Nathan Doan
He
keeping
was
his
on-
distance from Ethan Patel coming into the pits.
And Alex is still out. So looking at these intervals, Corrupt has already undercut Alex. So, and I think that what that also hurts is that Cole is also undercut now. Oh, Cole is just on the outside of that window still, because Cole didn't get the benefit of that DRS, so he's just kind of left out to dry a little bit also. But Corrupt with a 3-second penalty. Okay, that's big. Alex is on 0 warning so far, so I think if Corrupt hits this lap, he has the opportunity to kind of battle Corrupt's pace. I don't know if he's going to be too far back to have DRS right on the pit exit, but we will see.
Was Nathan
That's
Doan
really
and
big for Alex.
Nathan Doan and Baberto going wheel to wheel. I mean, Baberto with 13% on his battery.
Barreto is one to never give up in a battle. That guy fights for every position, every lap. Definitely seeing that there.
Dipping a tie on the
Nathan was
grass.
side by side. Ooh. Nathan was in both positions there.
Ethan getting a bit loosey-goosey on the exit there. Tapping Nathan on his front right. I mean, Alex.
So
I mean, Roberto just absolutely just dumping his ARS right now to keep up with the Ethan and Nathan.
Alex is still out, man. I think this is that's just way. I don't know if he's hoping for a safety car or something. I think this is way too conservative so far. It hasn't passed Corrupt when they were in a 2-man train earlier. It's just staying out forever. Corrupt has already undercut him. He has to score as many points as he possibly can. Flosie's out. We're going to get a safety car.
Is he blocking the track?
I think he may have retired after spinning around tops.
I mean, Siggy making moves on Josh Barnsley currently. I mean, our top 8 drivers have not yet pitted. Alex deciding to stay out. I mean, if you're Alex right now, you're at the point where staying out is just only diminishing returns. I mean, those soft tires do last long, but at the same time, you have all the drivers behind you who do have DRS and fresher tires than you.
Yeah, and the issue here is also that you're going to have to make up time without DRS. And that's so hard on this track because you have both drivers are going to have so much battery that every time you push with battery, they can push with battery too and just keep that interval steady. But the big thing that he does have, though, is he does have the advantage of the penalties. So if he can just stay within Corrupt's penalty window, then he can just win the race by that. But he's going to be, I think Corrupt may be close. Corrupt is 26.8 seconds behind Alex at the moment. So it may be 3 second. It may be a 3-second gap for Alex as soon as he comes out of the pit. So he's going to have to push really hard when he finally does go in.
I mean, now is better than ever to pit for Alex. He already has a big lead tire wear-wise if he decides to pit now or soon.
Yeah, it's just I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for him. You know, it's like it may be how many laps we have on Corrupt right now. Corrupt is on his 3rd lap on his mediums. 3 lap difference on mediums on this track, man. It's just
it's minuscule.
It's such it's very small. So Alex in his most recent lap he did a 30.4. Corrupt did a 29.6. So he's lapping at least in the most recent lap 0.8 quicker. And I'm sure that pace is just going to continue since he's Soft's just going to get older and older.
And again, Brian Hackman. And I mean, especially if you're cushy at this point now, as the medium runners are now starting to catch up to you.
Yeah, I think one thing also here, well, I mean, I think Alex is actually pulling away from them still. It was, I think, he's finally going in. Alex is finally in. Alex still on zero warnings, but the gap, I mean, I think Corrupt is, I think, going to be close to 3 seconds on Alex when he finally comes out. This is going to be a disaster for him, man.
I think that should be everybody pitted already.
Yeah, and looking at we still have Josh and Siggy and Barney and Marino who have not pit yet. So I think Nathan might go up to P5 once everyone boxes here. Here we go. Yep, Corrupt is going to fly right by him here. Corrupt also is in the DRS window of Marino. Oh man, this is just an absolutely, I think, a bot strategy from Mercedes here. We'll see. I mean, maybe Alex just has really good medium pace. Maybe we're just not getting. Maybe we just need to wait and see here. But I can't help but feel like they absolutely mismanaged this race.
I think maybe even it's a really good strategy. I mean, all these medium runners had to pit early into, well, no DRS to be exactly, and Alex opting to wait for everyone together so he can have that DRS to pull away from Nathan, because Nathan having those issues through the race.
True. But we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions that Nathan's going to make up. He is well within that undercut window. So when those leaders finally pit, Nathan will have track position on all of those, and he will be within that window for him to win the Drivers' Championship.
Well, let's take a look at the penalties so far. I mean, Siggy with a 3-second penalty, Marino with a whole 9 seconds. Corrupt again with 3 seconds, but he shouldn't have a problem making that gap to Alex like he did in the sprint race. And Ethan Patel with 8 seconds, with that 5-second penalty coming into the pits. Very unlucky. You have to be very careful when you're coming into the pits in Britain. The braking marker doesn't tell you exactly when to stop.
Right. And all those things work in the benefit of Nathan. So every position that he can make up through these penalties, as long as he keeps it clean himself, is just going to help him more and more. So looking at these lap time. Oh, go ahead.
No, sure. Go ahead.
I was gonna report their lap time. So Alex, okay, that was his outlap. So it's 154.5. But Corrupt did it 29.6 again. The benefit for Alex a little bit, I mean, also that kind of hurt him there, was that Corrupt was able to have 2 DRS usages on the last lap because Marino is driving with a broken wing and he is quite slow right now. Alex will at some point catch up with Marino too, so he will get the benefit of that as well. We have somebody around in the middle of Sector 2. It looks like, it's Stu Francis again. Oh no, he's still alive though. That's what's important. He has wing damage, so I have to get him replaced, but he's still in the race, man.
Still in the race. Stu Francis, it is a marathon. Well, it is a race, but it definitely is also a marathon.
Ackman still leading the race right now. 11 seconds on Siggy. Oh, we have Snoop going off the track again. And a 3-second penalty along with that. Come on, Snoop. Just finish the race. Don't quit on us. We're almost halfway done.
I mean, the top 3 still haven't pitted yet. I mean, Bonnie Goatman should be pitting by now, especially since his gap would be coming out right in front or behind of Ethan.
He definitely should be looking now. He actually did just set purple Sector 3, so maybe he's feeling good on these tires right now.
We will see as these 4 front runners so far. Well, our de facto race leader would be Corrupt right now, but the current people who are leading this race and leading a train still haven't pitted yet.
No, Snoop, no! He retired in the pits.
No.
He's going to finish the season with 0 points. No, Snoop, why'd you do it? Oh, hearts are broken. Snoop has abandoned us.
Snoop has decided that he will not be making any points. I mean, looking so far at everybody's ERS, everyone seems to be at least above 50% who hasn't had a penalty so far.
Good. Barney is 30. Yeah, he does have a penalty, but yeah, Barney does not have a penalty, but he's about 30% right now.
25.
Corrupt is actually at 7% right now, or 57%. I'm sorry. That is Siggy with the 10% battery.
Nathan Doan also with a 50% halfway through his battery.
I wonder if you're in this position that Barney's in. Barney has yet to pit. There's no way he's going to be able to help Alex's race at this point without any kind of safety car. So I wonder if maybe Mercedes should call, like they've already won constructors. I guess Barney might want to have a Hail Mary chance of winning drivers, but right now he would not. Nathan is still in the race and has no penalties. and his teammate would even beat him from where we're at right now.
Yeah, and Alex
But-
Duarte, especially currently in de facto P2.
Yep, and I wonder if Mercedes might be thinking, maybe Barney, it's time for you to slow up, dude, fall back, and then just try to hold Nathan back. Somehow park the bus on Nathan at Silverstone, which isn't very easy, but do what you can to help your teammate, because right now, Alex is not going to be able to win the race.
Alex may not be able to win the race, but Nathan may not be able to pass Cushy and Ethan. They seem to be holding up really well. I mean, Ethan, of course, having really decent pace on around this track. You know, keeping ahead, even with the two guys behind him with DRS.
Well, the benefit he has is both guys in front of him have penalties, and we still have 4 people that have yet to pit who he has already undercut. So he is, if the race were to end once these guys pit and the penalties are put in play, Nathan's going to move up 6 positions, so he's going to win the drivers' championships. Yeah, 6 positions.
Yeah,
4 people have to pit, and then the 2 penalties. So Nathan right now is in the driver's seat for the drivers' championship.
Cushy takes a risky wide line on Ethan. Makes a move though. All Nathan needs to do right now is just take his time, wait for the right time to just get past these two. But I mean, if you're Nathan, these penalties are going to be adding up near the end, and you know, you don't know if Alex might get a little lucky or.
The very stressful thing for Nathan here is that he has 2 warnings himself, so he's going to have to go the next 10 laps without any warnings in order to stay behind, and then he can just kind of sit behind and just let the penalties do the work for him. But I mean, that's still a very difficult thing to do.
I mean, Alex right now, how much warnings he is on?
Alex is at 0 warnings.
Wow. Okay. So Alex, playing it fast and safe.
Yeah, he's doing. Corrupt is doing well. I mean, Alex is doing well. The only issue is he's 4 seconds behind Corrupt, so even he wouldn't benefit from those penalties at the current moment. We have I think that's Marino around at turn 1.
Oh, and
Yeah, Marino just retired, so we shouldn't get a safety car with that. I think he just spun on the exit and retired. So Marino's season is done.
Again, Nathan just slowly clawing his way forward, and Duarte slowly having less options to do.
Yeah, I think Mercedes, if he has an engineer tonight, like I think either his own decision or whatever their strategy just absolutely failed them tonight. But I mean, we still have more. For all we know, OG will go crashing the wall and cut the safety car. So we still have a lot to happen. But here we go. We have Josh Barnsley and Barney into the pits here. So Nathan should come out in front of both of them. There he goes.
She also
Nathan
makes
up
his
in
way
a
ahead.
P7 now. And we still have 2 more cars. I mean, Cole's going to go to the end on those mediums. Cole's back up to P4, so he's doing a decent job with how early he pit. And a pretty big gap between him and Cushy. Brian Hackman still has to pit. Nathan will pass him. So Nathan, if he just doesn't get any penalties, he will win the Drivers' Championship.
I mean, also Duarte 2/10 a lap slower than Corrupt, so Corrupt just slowly making his way to the win.
And then on top of that, Cole actually just is at 2 warnings too, so he's in the potential. He is lapping slower than the cars behind, so we may see them catch him before the end of the race, which potentially could give Nathan another position. Nathan has no penalties.
Yeah, as long as Nathan just
Actually-
keeps his cool and keeps his drive, keeps it with no penalties, this is Nathan's race to win.
Nathan actually fell out of DRS right at the current moment. He is
Nathan.
over a second behind Ethan. Oh, we got some. Okay, now we're talking. Nathan's gonna have to make up positions on his own now because he's only gonna make 1 position up from the pit lane here. He's gonna have to make 2 overtakes to secure that drivers' championship. But with Alex in P2, I think he only needs P6 to win.
So Nathan
So he's
definitely,
gonna have to make up at least.
Nathan definitely having to close up this gap.
Yeah, and now he's out because he's outside of the DRS of Ethan. If he can't close this gap back up, then he may be left out to dry.
That's Brian Hackman into the pits, but also saving a 5-second penalty.
That's absolutely devastating for his race.
Well, no, actually, Brian Hackman is just frozen into the pits.
Oh, I think he DC'd. He must have DC'd, and he couldn't release the pit. Oh no! He
Again-
ghosted on the way out, so the game must have just picked him out.
Again, this is helping Nathan right now. You know, as much positions as he's gained has been gained from people making mistakes.
Yeah, there's a, oh, who is that behind? It's a, is that an Alpine?
That's Zack Smack.
Oh, it's Zack Smack. Okay. Whew. Okay. So Nathan, it's not Nathan, so he's still in it. Zack Smack does have some wing damage, so he'll have to pit again.
I mean,
You know, these medium runners who went really long, they're really not, his ultimate strategy is not working out. And Barney is so far back now, P9. Starting P4 and he's falling down to P9 because of strategy. So he is 4 seconds behind Fitz at the moment. Fitz does have penalties.
I mean, again, since tire degradation has very little to play with pit stops here, the alternative strategy is kind of a waste on this track. I mean, you'd rather just pick the softs and stick with as much people as you can for that DRS, because staying longer...
Either that, or just, like, take those soft, either just, I mean, you can do that. I think the other, I think that's the only way to really make the alternate strategy work is to hit with those mediums really early and just go really long on the softs and just make up a lot of time in those first few laps when you get on those softs. Yeah, you're right, dude. The ultimate strat is definitely subpar on this track.
Okay, again, looking at the penalties, I mean, Nathan currently in P5, Ethan Patel with an 8-second penalty. That's going to be putting him down by Fitz Dickwell, P7.
We lost our intervals there. We'll get them back as everyone completes the next lap. We'll see. It's going to be really close. I mean, Nathan, I believe, is still outside. Yeah, he's fallen even further back behind Ethan, so he's in even more trouble at the moment. If he cannot close that gap, if there's a potential for that DRS train to run away from him, he'll lose that penalty interval that he potentially can make up from if people get more penalties.
And let's not forget, Frank, Nathan only needs P5 or higher to win this, and that's if Duarte is winning. So as long as we, of course, the timing, so we can see it, but so far Nathan is looking well as ever to win this.
Yeah, he is. You're right. He would win it if Alex does not look to be passing Corrupt, because he is still lapping slower with fewer tires, and he just keeps losing more and more time to Corrupt. So Corrupt does not look like that he will be caught unless he makes a really big mistake.
Actually, Nathan Doan also losing about a 10th a lap to Ethan Patel.
Yeah, that DRS is just helping them out so much. Like, oh, we have a Haas around. There goes Haas around. Looks like he's still in it. Oh, yeah, Hokage looks like he's broke his wing, but he's still alive.
And he decides to continue.
Yeah, Corrupt is closing the gap on him too, so Corrupt may get a little bit of DRS, depending on how quick he is through this sector. Another yellow flag with Ferrari spun around. That's Brian Hackman, no front wing in the final chicane, I believe. He's just sitting on track now, so not looking good for him.
Well, again, the DRS trains are starting to spread out a little bit. I mean, Kushi and Ethan Patel, one of the only DRS trains in the top 10 right now. Actually, Josh Bonsley and Bonnie Goatman also in a DRS train.
Brian Hackman retiring from the session. Must be having issues with connection again, so unlucky for him. He was having a pretty decent race.
Yeah. Very unfortunate for Brian Hackman, and very unfortunate for Ferrari. As Josh Bonsley currently loses his position to Bonnie Goatman.
It's a combined constructor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we still have, I mean, every point matters because the combined constructors are still in play, even if they're not in, contention for a constructors championship. So when you lose drivers like this, even if they're in the back, it hurts.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're McLaren, and AlphaTauri. I mean, all three of them being in a fight for P3 in the combined constructors right now, and I mean, McLaren finishing with 0 points and OJ and Fitz having arguably a worse race than they probably expected to have.
Yeah, OG having damage on lap 1 definitely did not help. Looking at the tire with Corrupt, just about 10% more. I mean, a little bit more. His fronts are quite a bit long. He's at 36% on his front left, compared to Alex's 21%. But not a lot of time for Alex to make up. He is kind of slowly.
Yeah, Corrupt.
catching him on that straight at least.
Yeah, Corrupt has now hit a standstill on pulling a gap to Duarte. So all those medium tires falling off, has Corrupt been pushing them a little bit too hard?
We'll see. They're about to cross the line. We can see their lap times here. So Krupp with a 29.7, Alex with a 29.8. So he's still building a gap.
Again, that 10th slower. Oh,
And Nathan is also losing more time to Ethan.
yeah. I mean, again, Ethan Patel in that DRS of Cushy, still not passing him, but definitely sticking together with him. And looks like Bonnie Goatmare, Cole Cummings, and Alex Duarte, the only drivers who do not have a penalty currently. So let's double check these penalties here. And yeah, Bonnie Goatmare definitely going to be gaining some positions at the end of this.
Yeah, right now he would only gain one position since Nathan is quite a bit further ahead than Roberto. I mean, that's kind of what they need. Mercedes needs. They need Barney to kind of close the gap to Nathan and drop him at least one more position.
Not only that, Bonnie's lapping a whole second faster than the people in front of him. So Bonnie just needs to keep his head down, keep himself penalty free, and maybe he can hold up Nathan, push him back. I mean, with 4 laps to go, Bonnie has to make up the time now.
He very well could. I mean, he is, like you said, he's absolutely flying. And if he keeps flying at that rate, he should catch Roberto on this next lap and maybe benefit from a little bit of DRS that Nathan will not have. Let's see him drip around again. More wing damage for drip.
I mean, Fitz Dickwell with 11-second penalty.
I guess Fitz used all of his concentration last night to win the D4 Drivers' Championship. So
Yeah,
just taking it easy, just chilling, driving, cutting all the corners just for fun.
I mean, if you're OJ, you're not really appreciating that because you have a whole combined constructors you're fighting for.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. I mean, I'm sure Fitz is giving it his all, but yeah, this grid is a little bit quicker than D4, so maybe the pressure is just kind of adding up to him. Maybe he's just had a rough day.
Yeah. Well, you probably partied a little bit too hard off of to his championship win.
So looking back at the yeah, potentially. So look, actually, Alex just gained 5 tenths on Corrupt. What is
Corrupt
happening? Alex is at 7. He is suddenly 7 tenths outside that penalty window of Corrupt.
Nathan Doan needing Alex Duarte to stay away from Corrupt currently. Because as soon as if Duarte passes Corrupt or gets anywhere near him in that 3-second gap, Duarte's on for the win here. And not only just a win in Britain, but a Drivers' Championship win.
Oh, well, Corrupt did pull the gap down to 3.7, but then it's kind of gone back up to 3.9, about to be 4 seconds again.
Okay, I mean, Bonnie Goatmare still putting in about a second ahead of him and to 9 tenths ahead of himself, so I think he should be catching Nathan in the last lap. I mean, he's already caught Spilito, and he's going to be getting DRS, so this is only going to help his lap times.
He may just do this. He may close that, prevent Nathan from winning the championship. So what we were saying earlier, that Barney's not really going to have much of an impact on this. He may do it just because he doesn't have penalties. So we'll see. It's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, if soon as Bonnie gets up to Nathan and gets ahead of him, I mean, Bonnie doesn't have any penalties. Let's look at the penalties again here. Yeah, so if Bonnie can get ahead of Babuto and somehow get 3 seconds behind Nathan, Duarte's on for the championship win.
Yeah, and then depending on how close Barney gets, he might go all the way up to P5. So looking at the penalties, Cushy is at 5 warnings, Ethan's at 4, Nathan's at 4, Roberto is at 5.
Bonnie made some move on Roberto. Gets done.
Yeah, so now he has about a 5-second gap to close. He has to close it at least little bit more than 2.5 seconds, and he will be within that
Bonnie,
window of Nathan, that penalty window of Nathan.
yeah, I mean, Bonnie has a second and a half to cut down right now to protect his teammate. So it's all up to Bonnie right now, as he's hitting all of the corners as best as he can to catch up to Nathan.
I mean, Alex has cut the lead down to 3.5, so he still has the potential to make some stuff happen. His tires are fresher. Corrupt's tires are at 45 and 39% on the fronts, 36 and 33 on the rears. Alex's are 29 and 25 on the front, 24 and 22. So Alex definitely has more tires to work with on the last lap and a half.
Yeah. Duarte actually lapping a lot faster than Corrupt, so I mean, it's either that Bonnie gets ahead of Nathan or Corrupt falls behind.
Yeah, with these, I mean, 3/10 last lap, or a little less than 3/10 last lap. With that pace, you could get it. Let's see what that interval shows at the line here.
Let's see these last lap times.
The benefit for Corrupt, though, is Corrupt's at 60% battery, Alex is at 15%. So, Corrupt will have a lot to work with on this final lap. Looking at the lap times, Corrupt was actually 100th quicker than Alex, but they were pretty even.
Okay,
so Alex will have to put in a banger lap here.
So we have both Mercedes having to close a gap for one of them to win this Drivers' Championship. I mean,
Bonnie right now is over 4 seconds, so he's going to have to lap really fast.
Duarte closing a really big gap to Corrupt. Only 3.1 seconds behind.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Will he have the battery to do this? Corrupt still has a significant battery advantage. I'm surprised he's not using all that much right now. He still has more than half his deployment. He might just blow it right on that back straight.
Might not have enough to carry himself to be right in Corrupt's time penalty. But Corrupt, again, just
we're at 30. Time. Just outside 3 seconds.
Just outside. Alex needs to push really hard here if he wants to win. Gets into 3 seconds. Now can Alex keep
Corrupt has a little bit of a better run.
Alex,
oh, man, that gap climbs so fast.
Oh, he has no battery.
I think also the lap car just drove through Alex with DRS and may have slowed him down going to the corner. But now, yeah, the gap is just way too big now.
Yeah, Alex Duarte will not be getting P1, but can Bonnie hopefully do something about this? Maybe Nathan could have a mistake on these last few corners. Bonnie can only hope for a miracle. Man. No, and that is Nathan Doan as your Drivers' Champion.
Man, that's so close. Both of those championship leaders, man, both lost DRS at really inopportune times, and it almost wrecked both of their races. If Alex just does his strategy, it's a little bit better, man. That race should have been so much easier for him.
Yeah.
But even though, dang, man, that's so close.
It's so crazy, so crazy. Imagine if Duarte just saved a little bit more ERS for the end. He might have had a Driver Championship in his hands. And also Bonnie Goatmare, a 10th off of Nathan Doan. Again, so much could have happened just now, and just Nathan, by probably the will of luck, as well as keeping it somewhat clean throughout this entire race, gets 3 Driver Championship. The Drivers' Championship of D3.
Ooh, man, he must have been sweating through that after that sprint race. Imagine how frustrated you'd be falling all the way down as far as he did, and then being able to recover like he has done in both of these races. Very impressive recovery from him, and just kind of a drive, like a champion's drive, really.
I mean, and great job to Corrupt. I mean, his pace for these last few races, again, has been outstanding.
It has, yeah. Corrupt was just on another level today in both the races, and Alex and his Mercedes garage just did not capitalize very well on the strategy, and I think that cost him his race win here.
Yeah. Duarte basically missing out on his championship for about a couple of tenths, which is phenomenal. phenomenally insane.
All right, guys, so that is the end of our Division 3 Season 4, and Nathan Doan is your drivers' champion, and we have Mercedes as the constructors' champion. They just kind of smashed everyone again. They had already clinched it last week, but they had definitely points today, just showing how good they were as a team this season. But man, what a heck of a race! And on top of that, another thing that we just kind of didn't really mention at all was that Cole, who started on pole in the sprint race, actually kind of finished his race. He didn't have any issues. He finished on the podium, so an excellent finish for him. So let's bring Cole in here. So he's in our waiting room now.
Hello.
Dude, Mr. Cole Cummins himself.
What's up, guys?
Dude, you waited until the last race of the season to finally just kind of keep it cool, dude, and just drive and finish on an easy podium, man. How do you feel?
Yeah, it was a really boring race, man. Congrats to Corrupt and Alex. They just outpaced me, like, straight up, and then I just got P3 without any fight. Actually, Cushy at the end kind of came up to me, but he had a time penalty, so I wasn't worried at all.
Yeah, you were sitting at 2 warnings, so I guess something could have happened. But nice drive though, man. No penalties, no damage, no spins, no nothing, dude. So it's just kind of a perfect drive from you,
Yep, just a clean race.
dude. So this is a little bit off topic, dude. But what do you think about the allegations that you were driving in Christian's place last night at the D4 race?
Why does everyone keep telling me that? He's been grinding, dude. Just wait till next season. Everyone's gonna come up and they're gonna be like, okay, and they're gonna believe it.
I
He's got to
mean,
get his own. He's got to get his own rig, man. That's really.
He actually has a rig now. He just needs to get. He wants the CSL DD, so he's been practicing at his own place.
All right, man. We look forward to having Christian in here with us too, man. How do you feel about your season so far? I mean, it kind of rocked a little bit rocky in the middle, but a really nice finish for you. How do you feel about your season as
Honestly,
a whole?
huge disappointment. On halfway through the season, I kind of just gave up. Like, even this race, I put like an hour and a half of practice in, so it kind of worked out that I got pole and got P3. I was kind of surprised about it, so yeah. But overall, just not happy with it. Season kind of sucked for me. I'm hoping next season will come back better.
Yeah, but everyone has a fresh start, man. New game, new opportunities. So it should be an exciting next season for us. So thanks for speaking with us, Cole.
Yo, real quick, shout out
Yeah.
to my boy Slippy watching. Wins, you too, Brittany, everyone else. You guys are awesome.
Man, Cole's got a posse watching him at home. man.
yeah,
That's
dude,
very
he has
cool.
he has the whole family.
Mom, dad, grandma, uncle.
Auntie. Well, again, great job, Cole. I mean, for that first start of the whole race, I mean, what a mess, right? You know? Did you ever
Oh,
think
yeah,
that
it's crazy.
did you ever think that maybe something could have probably happened with you, or were you just being a bit cautious on the start? Because I saw you were kind of like waiting a bit and not too pushing way too hard.
Yeah, I usually it takes me a second to get my groove going is the problem. So I just kind of like take it easy. Just don't want to spin out. I get kind of scared, to be honest. So that's really why that happens.
Okay, well,
All
Cole.
right, man. Well, nice finish to your season, man, and thanks for
Okay.
speaking with us. So have a nice night, man.
Yep. Good night, guys. See ya.
Good night.
And so now we move on. I don't think Corrupt wants to do an interview. He's not in the waiting room. So we will move on to the man of the hour, man. The D3
Yeah.
Drivers Championship rookie Nathan Doan, man.
I held
It
on.
looks like we're gonna have his team principal with us here also. So I'm gonna move them up here.
Awesome.
So Mr. Nathan, man,
Uh,
Mr. Drivers Champion, dude. How do you feel?
it's a lot of emotions right now. I'm very confused because it was a very tight gap, 1 point I think it was to win, and honestly I have no idea what to think. I'm still gonna wait a little bit to confirm and let it set in, but that's how I feel.
So
Yeah.
at the start of the sprint race, man, it seemed like something we couldn't really catch exactly what happened, but you fell a ton of places all the way basically to the back of the grid. What were you
Yes.
thinking when that happened?
Well, obviously I knew that it was going to be bad for me, but I figured that if I gain all these positions in the sprint, I could do something in the race.
I mean, Nathan, like throughout that whole race, like it was ups and downs and questions and concerns, you know?
Yeah, it
Was at
all
any
day.
point during that race you were just like, I don't have this anymore?
Well, I never thought that I lost, but it was, I don't know, I think you would have had a headache if you were in the Alpine call.
Definitely. And your team principal, Freddie Rozelle, known to give many headaches.
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you, Nathan, for winning Alpine the first championship under the name of Freddie Rizal. So, all TPs out there, you know who to call up, Mr. Freddie Rizal. But no, it's been a great season for Nathan. Only getting one win, but that was tight. You know, I mean, I was engineering for Nathan, and he's telling me to shut up every 10 seconds. Just trying to concentrate. But
You do like to talk too much sometimes, Raz. So that is fair.
well, that is what engineers are supposed to do. But maybe I did a little bit too much. But no, it's been a great season. Went on to Alex for keeping the title fight alive. I mean, I didn't think he would keep it to 1 point gap at the end, but yeah, well done to him. So yeah, nothing else to say, Nathan. I'm shocked for words. Just well done.
Yep, you still owe me a hat.
I do. I do.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
Nathan, now that you've won the drivers' championship for D3, what are your goals for next season?
Compete in the midfield, honestly. I don't know how great my pace will be in D2, but I want to fight for points and at least.
I mean,
That's not a solid. It's not a hard. I mean, it's not bad because I mean D2 is. There are some people in there, especially for next season, that are going to make things really difficult. So
especially being like about midfield in the sorting table. I mean, do you expect to be going back to LP next season?
Hope not. I mean,
Yeah, we've had a few ups and downs
Yeah.
talking to with each other. I can say that I'm definitely not keeping him. I'm gonna let him be a free agent for the lower teams.
Yeah.
For next season, but
I've been look-
I think an Alpha Romeo spot will be a decent spot for you.
I've been-
and
I've been looking around with the teams for next season, and well, you know, we'll see.
all right, man. Well, hey, again, dude, congratulations! A great season for you, man. In your first season here at ZRL, man. We hope for bigger things in the future, man, because we know you're one of our young guns. So hopefully, we see a nice improvement for you in the next game.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd just like to say, GG Alex, you're a great driver.
Some excellent sportsmanship, man. So thanks for joining us, guys, and nice season for you guys. Congrats.
Oh, and
Yeah,
hi, Mom.
congrats.
cheers for the broadcast, and yeah.
And my family is watching, so I guess I better say hi.
Oh, what's your mum's name?
Katie, say hi.
Hey, Katie Doan, you got a great son. Oh, that's enough.
And that,
Yep, that's
and that is it.
A
And
way to
then
end it.
you guys did a great job. I mean, even with your ups and downs, like Freddie has said, between two of you, I mean, you both have pulled together a drivers' championship, which some well-oiled teams can't even do right now. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Alright.
great race, great job, and we'll be looking forward to see where you go from the future.
yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
All right, Thermo. So that's it, man. That's our D3. That's our D3 season, man. Your first broadcast. How you feel?
Ah, dude, I feel great. I mean, through the beginning, I was panicking a bit, but I think it all just started to smooth in, and I feel a lot better now.
No, I guess it's time for us to run off and try to get in our seats before.
Before they get
Or
taken
too late.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a great race, a great season for D3. I mean, some nice races, some interesting races, and some definitely unexpected results. Okay. And
Yep.
thank you everyone for watching this season 4 of Zoom Racing League D3, and we will see you next season.